Hey YouTube, GGB here, welcome back. Now this was a battle sent to me by a fan. We got Rome coming up against the Swaby. Classic showdown here. Now, Rome, it looks like, are trying to use a multitude of units in different lines. Yeah, here we go. So he's got triple lines, spaced fairly far apart. The front line will be a couple of these auxiliary infantry, 3 of these legionary cohort behind them, and then 4 of these Evocadia cohort. I guess doing what Rome does best with these cost-effective infantry here. He does have 2 auxiliary cavalry and 2 Sucky Equites, one on each flank. Looks like he's going to bring them in at this point and form a new line within or between his legionary cohort and these Evocati, and bringing up the rear Legatus and legionary cohort on the flanks to help out with any cavalry engagements. But it looks like he's going to have to adjust his build here, because I don't think I would want to keep my legionary cohort on the flanks. Oh, I guess there aren't really too much cavalry that can destroy them, that the Swaby can bring anyway. So the Swaby players brought a couple of these Germanic slingers, very good missile block chance, so kind of a good thing that the Roman didn't bother with any missiles, because these slingers will last a very long time with any skirmish fights. And he's got a line of Bloodsworn, the Swaby player. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in total. And bringing up the rear are these 3 Berserkers. Looks like he's got a couple of riders on the hunt here. So 1 on that flank, 2 on this flank. Backed up by a Wodenaz Spear, very good choice. He does have a Swordmaster General and another Wodenaz Spear on this flank, and a Germanic Scout Rider up the front. Good build. Not a bad build. Against the Romans, I probably wouldn't even bother with these Riders of the Hunt, because they are light melee cavalry, and the Roman doesn't really... I mean, I wouldn't expect them to bring much missile capability anyway, which should probably be where these guys would excel, I would think. But it looks like... yeah, if the General's ability is Fast Charge and Pride, they could get quite a bit of damage done with these Bloodsworn. And again, these Berserkers have an absolutely intense charge bonus when they do have that Fast Charge ability activated. We'll probably go into slow motion once that begins. So I'm going to start moving around for a second here. We got these auxiliary infantry bringing up the front, and it looks like they're going to start moving up and forming a line. Probably just screening at this point. Not really sure. He's bringing back his main line at this point and setting up his auxiliary infantry. They are very... there we go, okay. Yeah, they are very vulnerable right up the front there. He is also setting up a legionary cohort up on this flank. They'll probably do quite well against the Wodenaz Spears, but with support from Riders of the Hunt and Germanic Scout Riders, they probably won't do too well. So it looks like we already have these skirmishes, the Germanic Slingers firing upon these auxiliary infantry. Probably not the best target. These guys are fairly cheap, I think, and they've got a very good missile block chance, but then again, anything in the Roman army should have a fairly good missile block chance, and fairly good armor as well. Looks like we got a bit of a shuffle happening over here on the Swaby side as well. Riders of the Hunt being brought into the center, which is probably not a bad idea. Actually, no. That's not the case. So what they could do, these Riders of the Hunt could eventually hit these Sucky Equites and auxiliary cavalry as they try to withdraw from this fight. So, and it looks like we're going to see something similar like that now. So slow motion, we've got these auxiliary infantry coming up against the Bloodsworn. The Roman player is going to bring his Sucky Equites and auxiliary cavalry in and get a fairly nice charge all across the board. Going to rack up a nice amount of kills there. These Riders of the Hunt, it looks like they're going straight into the auxiliary infantry. They get a few kills off the charge, but nothing too special. Sucky Equites on the flanks going up against the Bloodsworn. Now the second line of infantry are still catching up with the rest of them. It looks like they're being activated now. Auxiliary infantry getting punished on the charge. Down by about 17 men here and dropping fairly fast. These auxiliary cav getting a fair few kills on those Bloodsworn. And it looks like we've got fast charge being activated here. Takes a while for those effects to kick in, so it may be a little bit late. These Bloodsworn will not get any charge bonus at all, but I guess he's mainly focusing on these Berserkers here. In a moment, you'll see the intense charge bonus that they get once that ability is activated. These cavalry units really should be withdrawn from this engagement and saved for the late game. But it looks like they're just being left in to stay in the fight. Luckily, they are melee cavalry. So these Evocati cohort coming up against the Riders of the Hunt. Auxiliary infantry across the board coming out of the fight. Now, we can see the charge bonus has jumped up to 71 on these Berserkers. Quite a good, a very good unit now. Very punishing on the charge. So we'll see if they can get a fairly good charge through the backs of their own men. Germanic Slingers pouring in fire at this point, only getting 2, 4, and 2 kills respectively. So not doing such a great job, and they'll have to shoot through the back of their own units. These units being thrown at this point, it looks like they are making contact, getting into these infantry and these cavalry units, and they're going to do like lots of damage. So very good job. There's 16 already, and we're talking about seconds here. Berserkers 17 kills there. Over on the flank, we got these Wodenaz spears getting ready to charge into the back of these legionary cohort. The Romans doing a very good job of flanking around, and they're going to get a fairly good charge into these Bloodsworn. These Germanic Scout Riders, no kills yet, but they are charging or firing into the shielded flank of these legionary cohort. Across the board, we got a couple of these Swaby units that are crashing out of the fight. So it looks like one of the Bloodsworn, that'll be one of the first ones to be taken out. Out in this flank, we do have a Wolf Warrior club unit, very good armor piercing damage. They're coming around and attacking this Soki Equite. But they are being supported by these Evocati cohorts, so I guess that's good night for this Bloodsworn. Riders of the Hunt, again, being left in the fight. When they would probably be more useful being extricated. But I guess the Swaby player does have a Germanic Scout Rider, so a little bit of mobility left on the field to defend his own skirmishes. Slingers, again, still only got 2, 4, and 6. The Legatus coming in. It's being focus fired at by the Swaby player, though. Getting quite a bit of damage done to it at this point. And it looks like the cavalry is being pulled through here. You're going to see them take quite a few losses, but it looks like they're getting out with most of their units. The Legatus does get caught by this Berserker unit, and they're going to get fucking trounced at this point. Though the Roman does manage to get a Soki Equite through the gap, and he's going to get into these Germanic Slingers, getting quite a few kills there. Looks like more attack issues are being ordered from this Legatus, and they're running the gap as well. They have lost 6 men in total, but they are going to get into these Germanic Slingers and silence them once and for all. The Roman is getting quite worried about these skirmishes and going to great lengths to get rid of them, but I don't really see them as a massive threat to the Roman at this point. In late game, they could be useful, but they're not going to do a whole lot of damage. Looks like a Riders of the Hunt is being brought around the flank. We got a Soki Equite dying out in the center, but again, more... The Roman has brought more units, so another legionary cohort being thrown into this mix. They'll probably do quite well against this Rider of the Hunt. Getting a fairly good jab toss off there with their Plumbata darts, 79. Evocati cohort, still full strength, got 82 kills. Most of them will probably be against the Bloodsworn and the Wodenaz spears on this flank. These Wodenaz spears doing a very good job, 27 kills. I'm going to put it on play now. Now these Berserkers have lost control, and they will just be chasing anything on the battlefield they can get their hands on and killing. So 71 kills there, doing a great job. These Bloodsworn, 64 kills. Over on this flank, we got Bloodsworn, Wodenaz spears getting shield strength, shield screen, sorry. Probably a good choice. And we got these Scout Riders getting some fairly good shots into these Soki Equites. They're managing to defeat these Soki Equites, actually. That's fairly interesting to see that. Legatus up in this mix. With the Roman army, I guess the Legatus will be more expendable than other armies, as most of these infantry units that the Roman has brought will be disciplined. Evocati cohort up to 149, 150 kills there, doing really well. Auxiliary infantry coming back into the fight. Looks like the Germanic Scout Rider and the Riders of the Hunt are going to be brought around onto this flank to help out. And for good reason as well, because this Wolf Warrior has just been trounced by a combination of Evocati cohort and Legionary cohort. Across the line, a couple of these Swaby units are being destroyed. This Berserker unit will do quite well in this engagement. Jumping up almost at 100 kills now. Evocati cohort, this one's up to 167 kills. And Riders of the Hunt, I guess, just roaming around trying to protect their skirmishers. I don't know what these Germanic slingers are targeting here. It looks like they're firing into the backs of a couple of these Legionary cohort and auxiliary cavalry. Very good decision there. So it looks like they're destroying Evocati cohort in the center with a combination of Berserker and Swordmaster. Very good job from the Swaby there at destroying the main line in the center. And it looks like this Berserker unit has also destroyed its foe, and it's going to start getting into this auxiliary infantry and Evocati cohort at this point, making very short work of that auxiliary unit. These units do have scare, so they're going to be able to bring quite a good effect down upon these Roman units here. We got a Legionary cohort getting a very good jab toss into these Berserker units. There's still 23 of them left. In the center, we've got a Legionary cohort who's going to fight right down to some of the last men. Germanic slingers pouring in fire here. 29 kills, 31 kills, and 16 kills respectively. Not too bad against the Roman army. We've got these Berserkers still out of control, down to 22 men, but they're up to 180 kills. I repeat, 180. Now that they're out of control, they're going to start chasing these auxiliary infantry that have already been beaten down. So, kind of useless at this point. This Woden Spear getting ganged up on either side. By a combination of auxiliary infantry and legionary cohort. Whoa, almost 200 kills in that legionary cohort there. Very impressive stuff. Looks like there's a lot of Swaby units left on the field, and it looks like they're going to ignore this part of the battlefield and just focus in on this side, which is probably a good decision. Germanic slingers getting some very good fire into this glob of Roman units, but we do have a Bloodsworn that's failing now, and we do have a Riders of the Hunt that's being hacked down by a legionary cohort. So we got a bit of a switcheroo. These Berserkers are going to turn about and come into these Legionary cohort. And these Swordmasters are going to get a fairly good charge into these Evocati cohort. You can see getting a few kills there. Very nice. Almost up to 200 kills. Evocati cohort, over 200. Very good stuff from the Roman infantry here. Both of those units have double XP chevrons. This Legionary cohort's going to chase off this Germanic slinger. Hopefully it'll be on skirmish mode so it can do something about it, but looks like these slingers are going to fire into the back of them while this Scout Rider gets a fairly good charge into them unbraced. The Swaby General is dead. So with a combination of these Evocati cohort, they did manage to destroy that Swaby General, and these slingers are going to have to start kiting their way back. Berserkers all across the board are failing. These guys are exhausted. They're losing decisively, down to 6 men. He has just popped Headhunt, but it wasn't able to keep them in the fight, and it looks like these Legionary cohort are going to come after these Germanic slingers at this point. I wonder how much ammo they got left. Probably not much. I mean, they are slingers, but they won't have ammo forever. We got 52 kills, 48 kills, and 37 kills, but it looks like the Romans going to take this one. So, very good job from Buddyman. Getting into his slingers and just finishing them off here. We'll see if we can get some kills. Boom! Yeah. Damn, that was pretty good. See if we can get some Evocati cohort kills here. Yep. There we go. Good victory there. Lots of kills all across the board. Swordmaster General are doing a very good job. These Berserker units being used to their full potential. Double XP chevrons on one and a single XP chevron on both. Evocati cohort being used very well, being brought into the fight later on after the rest of the expendable infantry have been used up. And we got 300 kills in this Evocati cohort. Holy shit, almost 300 in this unit as well. So very, very, very good job from both players. Thanks, Buddyman, for sending this through to me. And we'll see some more in the future. So you guys just stay tuned and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.